What is good, guys and gals? Welcome to the Films and Pixels Podcast, episode 7. I am your host, Afif, and we have plenty of jam-packed topics to talk about today. Now, I'm going to be talking about changes that have been going on with CD Projekt Red, plus major Cyberpunk 2077 news. Also, Zachary Horwitz, prison sentence, how and why, I will get into those details. Now, with the Uncharted movie now in theaters, I am concerned about the reviews, and I'll be talking about more about the movie video game adaptation. Plus, Horizon Forbidden West public reactions. They're very positive and good. Now, why does that matter to me? I'll dive into that. Plus, some of the Super Bowl commercials and movie trailers have been released around, I think, halftime between Bengals and Rams. Yeah, the Cincinnati Bengals LA Rams Super Bowl game this year. So I'm just going to offer my thoughts and opinions on some of those topics. And yeah, I'll dive into them. Now, before I go on, if you're new to the channel, if it's your first time, if you haven't seen previous episodes, you've heard the drill before. Like the social media pages, follow them. If it's your first time, subscribe to the YouTube channel, leave a comment. Engagement always helps, so please feel free to do so. And yeah, from here on out, let's get going. All right, guys and gals, some very interesting, exciting news. Finally, after so much public dismay, so much public backlash, disappointments, very low review scores, the next-gen version of Cyberpunk 2077 finally arrived. There was a recent Cyberpunk stream by CD Projekt Red yesterday, February 15. It showed gameplay footage on both PlayStation 5 and Xbox 360, and thankfully, it's finally here. I mean, I thought it would come much later. Now, based on the YouTube channel, definitely it looks more next-gen, more up-to-date, more lively open world, better texture models, better gameplay, better performance, and all that. It's on a free upgraded patch 1.5 for all platforms. It's like just a 50 gigabyte patch. It is huge, but I mean, it's still very much doable. So it is very exciting to see this new update finally here. So if you're playing the game, if you bought it on PS4, Xbox One, you no longer have to be stuck on the backwards compatibility mode. Now, as far as technical features, there's like a performance mode that does provide and prioritize, I should say, 60 FPS. Also ray tracing. So ray tracing, the new gaming tech, is also a part of it. I think there is like a 30 FPS mode as well. Actually, in the case of the Xbox Series S, it does offer only a 1440p 30 FPS. So I mean, it's just like a cutback because that's like kind of like the specs from the Series S, but it's still pretty good. I mean, at least it's better than Series S being 1080p. So 1440p 30 FPS, I think that's more tolerable as long as it's more stable performance frame rate. But finally, now that Cyberpunk 2077 can be played and with ray tracing, I think that's also pretty good news. Hopefully this way it kind of repairs their public image, any sort of like goodwill they lost from the launch disaster, especially when it looked rushed. It looked like one of those games that really should not have been released on those 8th gen machines. It's still good enough on Windows, at least according to journalists and reviews. And like I mentioned before, actually, more than stable enough on Google Stadia, surprisingly. But yeah, like finally, like it's here. Also, if you're hesitant, there is like a free trial or like a free demo, however you want to call it, that's available. And speaking of CD Projekt Red, I'm going to stay on the subject because former game director who's part of the team that did do the game, plus the Witcher games, which The Witcher 3, The Wild Hunt, one of the greatest masterpieces, seriously. So anyway, CD Projekt Red game director Konrad Tomaskiewicz, left the studio he is building his own studio and forming a new team called Rebel Wolves. Now it seems like already their first game for Rebel Wolves already in like production. It's not there's not yet like a full title, but it's supposedly like a AAA dark fantasy RPG. It's going to be built with the Unreal Engine 5 gaming engine, supposedly like a play on Saga. Obviously, it's going to be targeting PC and next gen consoles, but it's interesting, you know, with the whole situation that happened before. I mean, he did resign because there were investigations regarding bullying in the work culture. So it is unfortunate something like this happened, but I think there's something called crunch, where software developers, game programmers, people who code games, I think they have to work like overtime to try to meet the target release date. So I don't know why there are accusations or any sort of allegations of workforce bullying, but I mean, unfortunately, it's not new. There was like a investigation commission that, according to investigations, did not find anything supposedly or reportedly found him not guilty of any bullying allegations. Now, he did say that as far as Rebel Wolves, it'll be a studio built on the foundations of fairness, teamwork, and openness, unified by the mission of putting the team first, always. They believe that happy people create great games, and they endeavor to revolutionize the RPG genre with their first project. So it's going to be interesting what that is. I thought they would make like a Cyberpunk sequel, but, seeing as there were lawsuits, financial losses, maybe some people fired, so much controversy, huge disaster. I think that's not going to happen. And quite frankly, I think it needs to do well first. If there's one thing the game is also known by, is that having Keanu Reeves as an NPC character, like a big important side character. I think I remember months before the game was released, he did make a public appearance. I think it was on an E3 show or some other event. And there is a memorable moment where someone said to him, "You're breathtaking," and he goes, "You're breathtaking." So, I mean, it's just too bad that all the excitement kind of plummeled down. But I mean, like, from here on out, now that there's an actual next gen version, it should be better. And, I'm actually more than curious to see what Digital Foundry has to say about it. But no doubt it fixes a lot of the issues. Alright, guys and gals, some breaking news. Some of you may know the name Zach Avery, or maybe Zach Horwitz. At least that's now on the news. Well, the reason why I'm going to be talking about this subject is because he will now be sentenced to 20 years in prison. Yeah, that's right. Zach Avery will be sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for running a $650 million Ponzi scheme. Yikes. He's allegedly being accused of, so what he did is that he's being accused of being bilked hundreds of investors who thought their money would finance distribution rights for movies that would run on HBO and Netflix. So seemingly, it seems like he robbed investors of $650 million of money that was supposed to be distributing HBO and Netflix movies. Yikes. Another thing too, he's gonna have to be paying $230.3 million in restitution fines as well. Now he lived in a Beverly Wood area, and he had to plead guilty in October to one count of security fraud. So that's insane. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission also sued Horwitz and his firm 1NMM Capital LLC in civil court over the scam. So not only did he steal a lot of money, he has to pay back a lot of money and be in federal prison for 20 years. Yikes. Also, part of the money that he stole from the investments that he has to now pay back did include a purchase of a $6 million home. According to prosecutors, the scheme really started since October 2014. When investment firms began entering into a series of 6 to 12 month promissory notes in one and MM Capital based in Horwitz statement. So that's insane. The supplies funded to the one and MM Capital, kind of like at least from what I understood, we're supposed to go for streaming distribution films, but instead, like, Horowitz provided fake license agreements as well as fake distribution agreements with Netflix and HBO. Yikes. Which all contain forged or fictional signatures. Now, these are like sort of notes and documents according to LA Federal Court. So what does that sound like to me? It seemed like he faked agreements in terms of movies and distributing for Netflix and HBO, and after stealing $650 million, he's now going to lose 20 years of his life in prison. Okay then. Yikes. As far as I'm aware, he did star in a movie, I think in a minor role, with Brad Pitt, as far as I'm aware. I forgot what it's called. It might have been like a action type movie, but yeah, I mean, this is kind of like a disaster. There are photos of him leaving court with his lawyers. Of course, they're all wearing their face masks and so forth, but yeah, yikes. This is bad. I feel bad for someone who really could have done more with his acting career. This is really an unfortunate situation, to say the least. All right, after months of trailers, photo promotions, movie posters, Uncharted is now finally in movie theaters, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg. And yeah, the excitement ends there. I mean, according to critics and reviews, they're not exactly great. And you know, that's really a shame. I was kind of looking forward to this movie. I was afraid of spending money on a movie that might disappoint. I know it's like action, adventure, entertainment, and that's really fine by me. And you know, as someone who really likes the Uncharted games on PlayStation 3 and 4, it's kind of a strange situation. But then again, it's not exactly new that games to movie adaptations don't work. And plus, you know, a lot of people on Twitter have been saying how the actors have been miscast in the roles, and I can understand it. I mean, both Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland, quite frankly, are too young to play the roles of Nathan Drake and Victor Sullivan. And look, I get it. I mean, the games themselves are actually like really immersive, exciting action adventure blockbuster Hollywood type games that are great and modern classics. So I know that the movies could have been, or this movie in particular could be the same. And look, I can't really like say, because like I'm kind of hesitant on seeing the movie itself. And you know what? It's not exactly new. It's not the first time any sort of game that's been adapted to a movie doesn't always turn out great, whether it's critically or financially. I mean, maybe the last time something was at least decent enough, Sonic the Hedgehog, and I'll be talking about that in a bit because there's already a sequel incoming. Just looking back on some old films, let's see, the Angry Birds movie, I kind of remember it. I thought it was kind of funny but not memorable. I didn't know there was like a Silent Hill film. Of course, I think you know what, the live action Pokemon film, Ryan Reynolds voicing Pikachu, it was alright. I'm not going to say it's great, but you know, whatever. Passable. Just entertaining, but that was it, you know. Yeah, also Mark Wahlberg and Max Payne. I remember Max Payne. Why there was a Street Fighter film? Woe is me, I suppose. Yeah, Need for Speed film. I remember it. I didn't think it was great. I remember the cast, Dominic Cooper, Emoji Potts, Aaron Paul, and even Kid Cudi. In the film, let's see, oh yeah, 2 of the 3 Tomb Raider films starring Angelina Jolie. The one with Alicia Vikander, it was alright, actually. It was more gritty and more realistic in a way. Yeah, I think there were like a couple of Hitman films. So yeah, like not to go on and on, but like, you know, it's unfortunate how like a lot of popular gaming IPs are poorly adapted into cinema. And I know a lot of budget, the effort is there, but it just doesn't end up well. Like I remember seeing Warcraft in 2016 in cinemas. and I could barely care about the human characters. I mean, the orcs were even more interesting, and yet they're the more serious antagonists in the film, you know? Yeah, like even just looking right now, like Assassin's Creed movie, you know, there was no major game in 2016, but I mean, I was really excited that Assassin's Creed became a movie, and for me, it just felt, or at least like, it looked flat in a way. I mean, the kind of machine that was supposedly the Animus, it looked like something that was seen in X-Men. Or I think because something had to be switched because of the, what's it called? Cerebro? Or something like the helmet Professor X used. I mean, I don't have the name properly, but I mean, like, for the most part, it doesn't always end well. And even The Rock, starring in two separate gaming films, Doom and Rampage. And yeah, they didn't turn out well. I mean, I remember Rampage. I mean, I only watched it because I like The Rock. I'm not like straight up. It's because it has The Rock. He's cool. He's fun. He's entertaining. So, of course, I was going to watch it with The Rock. But, I mean, he has better films. We know that. But I mean, like, yeah, I mean, knowing the situation, knowing that the critics are not exactly fond of the film, it kind of makes me hesitant, like I mentioned earlier. And, I'm just concerned, like, I know there's a lot of money being put from studios want to make games into movies, but I mean, if it's not going to be great, I don't know what's the point. Now that I look back, I remember watching the Mortal Kombat film. As a Mortal Kombat fan, since the film was on HBO Max, I liked that, in 2021, of course, with advanced CGI technology, the fatalities, the gore was more realistic. But in terms of the overall plot and story, um, passable, bare bones sort of thing. So I'm just concerned that this is going to be one of those situations. The Uncharted film does have Antonio Banderas, but I mean, yeah, it's just like popcorn flick, and that's fine and all. But if it's not good enough, like I don't know, I just hope like it doesn't hurt the image, and maybe check it out at another time. I don't know. It's just unfortunate. Okay, next topic. Um, there's recently reviews out now that the embargo has been lifted regarding Sony's next gen exclusive, or I should say cross gen exclusive for Horizon Forbidden West. Now, why am I talking about this? I don't know. Honestly, I wasn't sure what else to talk about for this episode, and you know what? I figured that simply because I'm excited about the release for Horizon Forbidden West on February 18, I thought I'd just mention, I mean, like, the public reviews and reactions are extremely positive. I mean, there are a lot of 4 out of 5s, 9 out of 10, 9.2, 8 out of 10, and I think in terms of overall aggregated Metacritic score, at least on PS5, is 89, which is like one of the best games available for the console. And you know what? It's really good. I mean, I'm not like anxious to play it now or anytime soon, but I'm very happy about the news. And it's also good that for Sony in 2022, they're off to a good start in terms of gaming exclusive releases. And what's even more surprising is that according to some YouTube channels with performance analysis on PS4, it's actually very good in terms of any sort of tech analysis and graphics, performance stable. Now look on PS4, at least 900p checkerboarding, 1080p, 30 FPS, and then on the Pro 1800p, also 30 FPS. Also, it's good to know that on PS5 performance mode 1800p, 16 FPS, and also a fidelity mode with native 4K, 30 FPS. Oh, that's good to know. But it's surprising seeing the comparison videos. I mean, okay, on PS4 there might be some texture pop in here and there, maybe a few frame rate drops, and I know there's going to be some updated patches to sort of address any technical issues. But on the whole, I mean, thankfully it's not broken and it looks really good. I'm actually surprised. I know that on PS5 the game will take advantage of the 3D Tempest audio, the haptic feedback, the adaptive triggers, and all that good stuff. But I mean, at least like for a game that's cross-gen, while all the attention is on the new gen PS5 exclusive version, it's just good to see that it's not a technically broken disaster. And best part is that if you buy it on PS4, you can get it for free on PS5 with a free upgrade. So that's actually pretty good to see on the whole. I'm just glad. I mean, I know that at some point cross-gen exclusives will end, but it is a relief, at least to me, that it's not a broken mess. Because cross-gen, I mean, like it does raise concerns that maybe developers don't fully utilize and use all the resources on the more powerful hardware, but that's not entirely the case. So I mean, I'm definitely excited and relieved on based on what I've seen. All right, now that this year's Super Bowl is over and the Rams are the champions in the NFL. Now I know that a lot of sports networks are going to be talking about the game, but you know what? Like most people, I'd rather be talking about the promotion material regarding commercials and trailers. Okay, so first off, the movies. Now, let's be honest. If there's one movie trailer that matters, at least to me, it's going to be Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, come on, like so much to unpack in that trailer. First of all, I thought I heard Patrick Stewart's voice. Could Professor X now make an appearance in the Marvel Multiverse? I'm excited to see that, but that won't be shocking. Also, you know what? I'm glad to see Elizabeth Olsen now finally getting the chance throughout the whole film to wear her Scarlet Witch costume. That's also going to be awesome. Sam Raimi. Of course, we all know Sam Raimi. It's good to see him as the director of the film. Now, unfortunately, I think most people might be aware Marvel and Scott Derrickson. I mean, Scott Derrickson, he was the director of the first Doctor Strange film, which was kind of more like an establishment or origin story type film. So I think creative differences, he got off the director's chair. But at least it's good to see Sam Raimi now, someone who's worked on Marvel films, directing an MCU film. That's kind of fun to see. Also, there's like this octopus-like creature. Some people think it's Shumagorath, but I forgot the name. But technically, it's not for some reason. There's also, in terms of other trailers, like the Amazon Prime series, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I know I should check it out. It's a teaser trailer. Also, a movie starring Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum called The Lost City, also as one of the trailers. Nope. Nope might be an interesting one as kind of a social thriller. It's Jordan Peele's third or fourth feature film directorial work. Once again, he is collaborating with Daniel Kaluuya. I think what was that movie again? Gone? Damn it, my bad. I forgot the name of that other movie, but it was really, really good. I mean, pretty interesting horror genre type film. Not as scary. I mean, if you think that was a scary movie, it wasn't, just to reassure some people. Also good to see Jurassic World Dominion trailer, not only for the new cast, but even the legacy cast are back. I mean, of course, we've seen for the last two films Jeff Goldblum, but also Sam Neill, Laura Dern are back. So it seems like a closing of the Jurassic film franchise to me. Also, like a quick small trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. At least it's going to come out in April. A Moon Knight TV spot. So, I mean, in terms of material, that's interesting to see. As for commercials, I didn't really pay attention to it a lot. Maybe a few I saw. I know that there's like a Larry David commercial. Also, a John Legend commercial for Headspace. There is one that I saw that I really liked that was interesting. It was like a tongue twister. Now, I was really happy to see the narrator in the end. Zendaya starred in the commercial, and she was great in that commercial. Like, just likable as always. I mean, that's something that I like. This was a Squarespace ad, and in the end, it was actually awesome to see Andre 3000. For some people that don't know, he's one half of Outkast, alongside Big Boy. When are we getting the Andre 3000 solo album, please? That'd be good to see. So yeah, that was pretty good. Also, like a Bloodweiser Clydesdale's commercial. Yeah, there's actually just looking on this list, a Dolly Parton and Miley Cyrus for T-Mobile. No thanks. Okay, yeah. Also, Demi Moore and Mila Kunis for AT&T Fiber. Let's see, Lizzo singing a song, Google Pixel 6, If You Love Me. Okay. DJ Khaled. Yeah, so see, like, some interesting stuff. I remember recently, I recall seeing a funny and interesting commercial with Arnold Schwarzenegger as Zeus with Salma Hayek. I thought that was kind of funny and cool. And yeah, I'm not able to find it, but I'm not imagining. I know I saw it. So there were, as expected, always a few interesting commercials. Why Anna Kendrick was like in a Barbie for Rocket Mortgage commercial? What? Yeah, I'm confused. Seriously, Bud Light, T-Mobile. I mean, I shouldn't be shocked about some of these brands being at Super Bowl ads, but I mean, yeah. Doja Cat for Taco Bell? Okay. But yeah, I mean, as a standard in Super Bowl, there's going to be more commercials than movie trailers, and that's expected. Even Lindsay Lohan for Planet Fitness. Lindsay Lohan for Planet Fitness. That also made an appearance. Yeah, Guy Fieri, Buzz Light. But I mean, it was actually star-studded. I mean, yeah, Ewan McGregor and even Idris Elba. Yeah, I did see the Idris Elba Booking.com commercial. Yeah, so that was actually pretty interesting. Oh yeah, you know what? The Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen Lay's commercial. That was, I mean, not too. I wouldn't say it was too funny. I wouldn't say like it was hilarious, but I don't know. It was a little interesting in a way, at least from what I recall. Yeah, a sloth holding a Doritos. Sloth holding Doritos chips, huh? So yeah, as I'm just going through the list, I mean, overall, like, there are some interesting Super Bowl commercials. Of course, Pete Davidson, Ty Burrell as one of the people stars that did feature in a bunch of these commercials. But I mean, yeah, I mean, overall, once more, pretty interesting stock of Super Bowl commercials. But for me personally, I would say that the movie trailers that featured even the GameSpot video trailers, especially for Moon Knight and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I think that for me was more interesting. And yes, I do know I should check out Nope and The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power trailer. Now, for that Lord of the Rings Amazon show, it's supposedly a prequel to at least before the first film. As someone that liked the movie trilogy, I'm a bit concerned that it's just going to diminish the source material, or at least hurt the legacy of the films. I mean, after all, I mean, especially the third film, The Return of the King, easily one of the greatest films of the decade, released in 2003. So, maybe I'll give it a shot, but I'm just concerned that it'll disappoint. But yeah, I mean, once again, an interesting list of movie trailers and commercials for this year's Super Bowl. All right, we are coming to a close for today's episode of the Films and Pixels podcast. For those that have watched from beginning to end, I want to say thank you very much for your time. I know you're probably busy with your day, getting ready for the weekend, but thank you. Otherwise, If you haven't seen any previous episodes, please watch on the channel. Subscribe to the channel, leave any comments in the comment section. Follow the links, follow the pages in the description section. Small donation to the Patreon page. Thank you so much. And until next time, this was episode 7. I'm your host, Afif, and thank you very much.